What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai signing on here bringing you another video. Today I wanted to do another review on Power Rangers Dino Supercharge. Today we got episode 7. For those that do not know, episode 7 is the second to last episode before the main hiatus occurs. So next episode will be the last episode until probably around August. Sad to say, but it's probably true. And in fact, I'm almost 90%. I'm almost 99% positive it's true. Anyway, interesting episode. This episode doesn't introduce new mech, doesn't introduce new character. It introduces a new charger. Very important charger, though. Probably one of the two. And there's only one more charger that's important that we'll get to later. Not yet, but soon. Probably in not necessarily the next episode, maybe, but more likely post hiatus. So, still, good stuff. So this episode has a big emphasis, obviously, on Koda. The episode is entitled, if I say this, Home Run Koda, and that becomes his name in the. That becomes what he's like referred to throughout the episode because of what happened. So. Obviously, sports-related episode, home run, baseball probably, right? So the episode starts off with Chase trying to explain to Koda, sports. He's from the past, he's a caveman and all that, so he doesn't know sports. He doesn't really know that kind of way of doing things. So, it's unusual to him. So, he starts off by trying to learn tennis, and he ends up hitting the tennis ball a little too hard to the point that he actually causes the tennis ball to go he hits it so hard that there's a huge hole in the tennis racket from how hard he hits it. He also and then following this, Fury mentions that he has a monster plan to deal with him. Now, unfortunately for me, I didn't quite catch his name. I do remember reading somewhere what his name was, but I forget what it is right now, and I'd rather not go nuts looking for it. I believe it starts with an S or something. I don't know for a fact if that's right, and if someone wants to correct me in the comments below, feel free. I actually prefer that, just to tell me what it is, and I might find it out later, and I'll be a little bit unhappy, but you get my point. But I believe it starts with an S. So then what happens is that Koda then tries other things. He tries rugby, which rugby, you have to get through people or whatever, and all the Rangers try to get into a position where they can stop him. And basically, they all try to hold him down, and he just charges on while they're holding on to his legs and everything like that. And he's very aggressive, so he does pretty well in that regard, but it's not ideal for him. He tries another sport. It's a little too hard. He tries golf, I believe it was. He ends up hitting the golf club so hard that so much dirt and everything comes up. Not good. Tries another sport as well. Baseball team is there, and they're not happy with him hitting stuff, and a little nervous. So then what happens is that he's then going to be taught how to play baseball. A sport that is common, obviously, in America especially. So he's ready to do this, and this episode is very different from what Japan did. Just saying, if you're curious, very different. So what happens is that then he tries it. He's about to try it and everything, and Riley's trying to explain it to him. And the thing is that there's a monster attack, and that's from the monster that's gonna be. That was the big focus for the episode. And I'm sure I might have an image of him. Following that, the Rangers set the fight, and there's these Vivixes that are trained a little bit towards his style, though they're still kind of weak at this point. So not the best things ever. So yeah, so that's all happening, and what happens is that I'm throwing really fast baseballs at him, and I'm not a big baseball guy, just saying, if you're curious. I'm not really huge on that, or sports typically in general, though I have played some in the past. Anyway, he ends up Koda ends up trying to hit some of the baseballs, and there's the baseball team that's in the background, and they have all run away except for the coach. So he watches Koda hit the balls and deflects the balls back at the enemies and just away in general, and even hits the monster for the episode. And the coach is really impressed with Koda, seeing how how well he hits it and how hard he hits it, and he's like, you know what? This kid might be good. So after they end up doing their battle, Koda actually is asked by the coach if he wants to join the Amber Beach Earthquake baseball team. And the thing is that he's not sure, but Riley encourages him to, and he just in general is like, you know what, I'll do it. And so he agrees to it. Now, the thing is that there were 2 bats. Koda had one, and the monster had his own bat. And that's important. Please note that. I'm not going to give away any spoilers right at this moment, but important. So, what happens is, but just keep that in mind. So what happens is that Koda then joins in a baseball game. Well, actually, no. Koda, first of all, is told he's going to join the team or whatever, and then Heckle's like annoyed at the monster for like doing poorly and about the Vivixes and says like, why are they so weak? Why are they destroyed or whatever? And the monster makes excuses or whatever, and they know that at that point they have to train up the Vivixes because the Vivixes are clearly not strong enough to deal with the Rangers. And deal with them in the way that like matches the villain's style of fighting, which is like a team style of fighting. So clearly there is that emphasis that is different. So that ends up being the next thing. But then back at the cafe and museum area, they have a press conference for the introduction of the baseball team and saying how like, oh, this year we're gonna do real well. We just got this new guy and his name is Koda or whatever. And there's a whole bunch of funny moments there brought up like about like how he says that he was born to play baseball. He had a bat in his hand when he was born or whatever, which he says correctly. But then he mentions the fact that he plays without his shoes on sometimes, which is like something that people look at him like, whoa, what's going on? Like, people look at him a little funny. And at one point he almost mentions that he was born in a cave and everything like that. But they end up having to stop. But Riley ends up having to stop him, and Riley basically acts like a manager to him. Just because that way he doesn't do anything a little bit too reckless or wrong. And then following this, they go into a baseball game, to deal with that stuff. Now, and Kota does really well. He gets a home run. He wins them a game or two, and it's going over really, really well. I'm just trying to double check something here. What was next? So then he ends up having to train a bunch. He has to eat healthier food, so he's not eating, the Bronco burgers as much. He's eating a lot more of like, salads and things like that are a lot healthier, a lot more helpful. And he's also being trained by Riley, and Riley wants him to do super well because Riley himself tried to get into baseball, tried to do well, and he had all the knowledge, but he didn't have any of he didn't have the skill needed to really get in there and really become a super great sports player. So, and he saw how good Koda was, so he really wanted Koda to stick to it. So in the process of this, the training and all that, and Koda, and what happens is that he's winning games, and at one point, he ends up getting this name being referred to as Home Run Koda because he just gets home runs and home runs and home runs and home runs, and he's doing super well, and everyone just puts up signs that say Home Run Koda or whatever. Because he's known for just getting home runs. He doesn't get like hits. He gets complete runs all the time. So everyone's really excited about that. So then back at the base, Kendall apparently has worked on a new charger, a new Dino charger, and this time the charger is for the Dino Victory charger. Now obviously there's one more charger which will come most likely post hiatus, which is the maximum charger, or the Dino maximum charger, or just the maximum charger, I'm guessing will be. But that's post hiatus, I'm guessing, because I believe they need all 10 members, and we've only met 9. And last time I checked, our 9th member, one of our members just left. So yeah, and we need 10. So important. Anyway, that all happens. So he gets they end up speaking about it and how, they worked in the 5 core members so that they all can use the Victory Charger. Now, keyword there, 5 core members, meaning Ivan is not included in this. That's where the maximum charger exists. And you'll understand why then. I don't want to spoil for people, at the same time I kind of do, but, that takes care of the other half of them. Just saying. Anyway, all good. So that all happens, and they want to end up testing out the Charger. But the thing is that Riley's like, you know what? We need to focus on training Kota. So yeah, we can't focus on that. So I know you want to help out the guys or whatever, but we have to focus on the training. So the thing is that that's all. So he's told that he can't help out, even though, you know, as much as he is enjoying being successful and winning and all that stuff, he wants to help out, and he's not very happy with what he's been doing. He doesn't feel all that good, and he wants to, and he feels like he's leaving out his friends and all that. So, you know, he doesn't feel all that good about what he's been doing and how he's been treating his friends, and really he just doesn't feel good. So that all happens. He continues to get home runs, and then eventually there is the championship games that happens. And the thing is that championship games, it was a game that's going to happen before the championship games, which he wants to, you know, Riley wants him to win, and he does win it. But the thing is that after that game, when Riley's cheering and getting all happy about you know, Koda getting them into the championship game, Koda's not happy. Koda's pretty upset. He doesn't feel right. He feels like he's been treating his friends poorly and everything. And, you know, not good stuff. So then, the Rangers on the other hand are actually, like, there's more training that is going on with the Vivek system. At the same time, the Rangers have heard about an attack that might be happening, and they want to go investigate what that means, and they want Koda to go along. But the thing is that Riley again saying, no, you need to train, and if you and he says, like, if you need us, call us, we'll come, and, you know, you can tell right away. Not true. If they called him, it wouldn't happen. So the thing is that while he's doing his baseball stuff, the other Rangers go and they end up finding the monster. And the reason, and we find out, and they end up snooping, and they end up finding out that the reason why the villain's bat doesn't have the effect it normally should have, which is supposed to be an explosive bat that is supposed to be able to explode. So it has explosive abilities, but it also can explode itself. And the reason why, as I mentioned before, keynote from before, I said the bats got swapped. So his bat, so the monster's bat, which is explosive and stuff, you know, allows for bat swings to be way more explosive and way more powerful than usual compared to how they normally would be. And they end up discovering that, you know, the monster's bat is a normal, regular, ordinary bat. And because of this, at first they're like, oh, well, what did you do? How dare you? Like, it's not good and all that, you know. The bat's not the right bat. And the thing is that the monster is like, wait, that's actually a great thing. Think about it this way. And he ends up explaining to Wrench that because the Rangers have that bat and he's been scoring all these home runs, they have the ability to detonate the bat. Yeah. And the idea is that they're hoping that by detonating the bat, they can destroy a whole bunch of innocent civilians and at the same time destroy the Blue Rangers. Very smart. But unfortunately for them, the Rangers do hear, but they're not caught. So they manage to get away and go back and go and find Riley and Kota at the championship game. And they're about to, you know, Riley's telling Kota, like, you know, you go out there or whatever. And the thing is that before they even go out there, the other Rangers stop them and tell them, like, don't go out there because, you know, right now it looks like that bat is explosive. And he realizes that, wait, so you're saying that my batting skills are not as good as I thought that I was? I thought I was doing well. So you're saying that that all those home runs may not have been all me? And so, you know, he's not very happy. He thought he had all this skill or whatever, but really it was the bat itself had been tampered. Like, you know, it was a bat with special powers. So that allowed him to do well, and he's not very happy about that. And they know that they have to get rid of that bat, so they swap the bat or whatever. And the thing is that, Koda wants to go help the Rangers dispose of the explosive bat that could destroy a lot of people. And the thing is that Riley's like, no, you should still play this game, because I've done all the training in the past myself, and I never had enough to get to the point where I could be on a major team like this, and I want you to be successful in a place where I couldn't be successful. And Koda tries to reassure him, explains to him that you have powers, Riley. It may not be your batting skills, but you have friends, you have ranger powers, you have all that stuff, and there's nothing that you should feel sorry about. You are great, and there's no reason to think any less of yourself. And that reassures Riley. And he ends up realizing, you know what, you're right, Koda. I should not be so hung up over this. And at that point, they end up joining the other Rangers trying to dispose of that. Now the thing is that in the process, the villains are coming in and getting towards the baseball stadium. And the thing is that when they're getting ready to get towards the baseball stadium, not actually in it, towards it, they come across the Rangers. And the thing is that they're trying to dispose of the bat, and they don't know what to do because they're too close to the people, and yet the monsters are there, and they're not going to somehow disappear and get a distance away. So at that point, Koda comes in of nowhere, grabs the bat, and tosses it into the sky really, really high up, and the bat explodes in the air because they've already turned on the detonation setup. Although technically, they should have had some notification saying that it was set to detonate, because it seems kind of odd that the moment they get out towards where they're going to throw it, it starts to sound like it's going to detonate, but prior to that, there's no notification at all. They should have had some moment or something basically showing that they pressed a button or something that said, okay, detonate. So that all happens, or like a timer, something that would have given some explanation as to how much longer until it explodes or whatever, or that it's starting to get ready to explode. Sadly, that never happened. Anyway, with all that said and done, Koda's not happy, and I'm just trying to see here what happens next here. I just want to double check. Right. I'm just double checking something here. Right. So then at that point, they want to use the new victory charger because Kendall has got it for them or whatever. And the thing is that they want to use the new victory charger. But the thing is that there's these vehicles which have now been trained up a bunch to the villain style of sports related team combat and stuff or whatever. So the thing is that at that point they realize the only thing that they can do is if they use Ivan's special attack, his final strike, and then Tyler uses the T-Rex supercharge mode, and also destroys the Vivixes, then leaving things set up for them to use the victory charger. At that point, they finally get to use the victory charger against the monster. Now, this destroys the monster and the Vivixes, and at that point, Heckle uses the magna beams to make the Vivixes and the monster grow big. Interesting, right? At that point, the Rangers then summon all 9 of their Zords, though, some of them combine to mech, some of them don't. They have the Terror Charge Megazord, but with the Pararaptor formation, and then they have the T-Rex, then they have the Dino Charge Megazord, just like the regular one, and they have the Plesio Charge Megazord with the Ankylozord attached on, and basically everything is accounted for in some regard, whether it be as a side arm or something else. So that all is put into consideration, and eventually, following a bunch of this fighting, they then use the Plesio Charge T-Rex, what was it called? I always forget what this one's called right now. The Plesio Charged Megazord Pocky Rex formation against the monster, and we use the Galactic Blast attack that they use pretty often to destroy the monster. Then back on the baseball field, they meet the coach, say, okay, I'm going to join in. This time they don't have his special bat, but Riley reassures them and says, you know what, Koda, just go out there, forget everything that you thought you knew, use your instincts, use what you know, and don't question it, just do what you know best. And at that point, he goes out there, he ends up getting 2 strikes, and then on the third strike, and then on the third strike, on the third time, when he's about to hit it for the third time, he then is like, hold on 1 second, takes off his shoes. As earlier mentioned, he does play it sometimes without his shoes, and he takes off his shoes. Then he gets into a position like he's a caveman, and he holds it like a club, like the bat like a club, and he gets ready to hit, and the pitcher's looking at him like, what's going on? This looks weird. But anyway, he gets ready to hit it, the pitcher throws it, and he gets probably the farthest home, the most distance ever out of his home run at all from that one home run, and he wins the game, and he wins the championship for them. They all cheer, they're all happy that Koda won the game. He won the series, so everyone was very happy. It was a nice cheering moment, and the episode ends there. Overall, I'd say this was a nice episode. Definitely very different from what they did in Japan, I'll tell you that much right now. Completely different. Their emphasis there was more on basketball. This was more on baseball. Though I will say this to you, due to the fact that it is in Japan, they do have baseball there. So it is interesting to see the difference in what they chose to focus on. But at the same time, it is different, and it is a little confusing because the Vivixes try to play baseball try to play basketball with them, and that makes more sense. And so there's definitely moments here that were completely original, but it is interesting to note that they went a different path with this story, and I wouldn't say I dislike it, but it's definitely a different episode and a different take on what they decided to do, where they emphasize more of teamwork there, which really should have been emphasized here, because really they emphasize one character rather than teamwork. Although teamwork is mentioned, the fact that trusting your friends and all that with Koda talking to Riley or whatever, but still it's a little bit, it's more like speaking rather than showing they need to get better at teamwork or whatever like they did in the Japanese show, but it's okay. Anyway, this is the second to last episode before the hiatus, as I've mentioned before. Please leave a comment below, like, subscribe as well. Tell me what you guys think of this episode. Was this episode good? What do you expect to see in the last episode prior to the hiatus? Do you think it's going to be something big? Do you think it's going to be something small? Are we going to get another Charger? Do you think we're going to get... is there going to be a return of a villain? Maybe Sledge or something like that? I don't know. Do you think we're going to get some hint of the future? Are we going to see some sort of hint towards Sledge's return or the Silver Ranger coming in? Do you think we're going to see something like that, or something unusual or new? I'd love to know that below in the comments. Tell me what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. So until then, guys, I'm Crazy Samurai 71, and this has been another Power Rangers Dino Supercharged video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye, guys.